class 4, class 4. Whoop, whoop. Welcome in, Kwana. How are you? I appreciate your comment on my stuff, on my Debbie story. How was your day today? I'm taking you guys with me because I'm kind of still like making sure my kids are good for food. Hi guys, how is everybody? Kwana, I'm excited you're here. Have you heard about the class on my profile? I think you have. Checkle Pants, welcome in. Hey, how is everybody? I'm so excited for class 4. I'm excited for every class if you haven't noticed, you guys. Baby Lucky Llama. How are you, girl? Hi, guys. Let me know. How is your day? How was your day? How was your day? Lola, welcome in, girl. How are ya? How are ya? How are you? Hi, guys. Welcome in. You're not good. You're amazing. Yes, Lola. Oh, my goodness, girl. It has been a long time. How have you been? Thank you for coming in. I'm so happy to see you. I gotta get this position here. How have you been, girl? We're waiting for everybody to roll in. Thank you guys for the likes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am hanging in there. Still recovering from surgery, but it's going okay. Hopefully, I'm hoping that I'll be back, like, working from home a little bit next week. So I'm going to try and do that, but we'll see. We'll see. I have an appointment with my oncologist tomorrow. So, but I'm excited to be here with you guys. Let me get this out of this direct light. Okay. I'm so excited everybody is here. Yay. Thank you for my likes, you guys. Thank you, thank you. I'm going to be taking you guys with me in the first few minutes. We're going to give like 5 minutes for everybody to roll in. Miss Lojo, what's up, girl? Thank you for the heart me. Thank you. I had, like 4 weeks ago, it's been about a month, I had a complete hysterectomy for, it's all good. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, thank you. I'm excited. You know I get excited for every class. But yes, Lola, they did a complete hysterectomy because the hormones that are feeding the cancer were not being suppressed enough. Burley, my gracious cat. Were not being suppressed enough. And so they did the surgery. Bo Ross Music, welcome in. I think this is my first time seeing you here. And so they opted to do the hysterectomy to try and reduce the amount of hormones that are going through since that suppression wasn't working. Thank you, thank you. I feel like it's a speedy recovery, but I tend to be like, I can do everything after surgery and then like hurt a lot later. So that's been a little bit of my problem. But overall, compared to 2 mastectomies, this was easy breezy. Cat knocked over that TV. That's surprising because he's so little and that TV's kind of big. So how is everybody? Miss Lojo, welcome in. How was your day, you guys? How was your day? Bullcuts, I've missed you so much, girl. And welcome in. Thank you for the heart me. Thank you, thank you. You guys, it's so good to see you. I seriously feel like I've been MIA from TikTok. Even though I've been on it, like, to watch my ASMR at night, and that's about it. Diana, welcome in. Did you miss Lojo? Oh my God. I want to hear all about this. I'm doing okay, bowl cuts. Thank you so much for asking. All that complaint I have today is consistent nausea. That's it. So, but other than that, I've been managing well. I have an appointment with my oncologist tomorrow for a follow-up. Miss Lojo, I'm so excited about this agency. Hey ho, what's up, girl? Diana, welcome in. How are you? Things are going okay, bowl cuts. Yes, yes, yes. You're good, Diana. I was thinking like, howdy ho, neighbor. Straight up old school, right? Tim Allen. The nausea is the worst, and I hate it. And it has been the one constant, like, thorn in my side, girl. But it has kind of been ramping up, and I don't like that. Lola, yeah! Yes, Diana knows too. Diana knows too. Walligator, welcome in. Thank you guys so much for being here. Oh my goodness. I have to get my earbuds in so we can get started, you guys, in one more minute. I'm taking you guys with me. I gotta go check on these noodles. I didn't quite get everything done, but I'm so proud of myself because, yes, bowl cuts. I bet you do. They're not easily forgot. That's for sure. But I was so proud of myself for getting everything together. And, Heather, welcome in, girl. Welcome in, you guys. Welcome in. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here. Give me 2 seconds to get all this stuff. I gotta empty these noodles, and then we're gonna get started. They were great, Miss Lojo. I might have to check those out. I have awful nausea. Awful, awful, awful. Oh, hi. I can't do it as good as Heather can. Like, not at all. I don't even get a little bit of credit. Because she does, Heather just she's a natural at it. Bowl Cuts does pretty good too, but Heather, you just have to step up, cuz it's your accent. What's up, baby? I'm live. What's up?
Hello.
Hi. I gotta find something to drain these noodles. Oh, are you sick, Heather? Well, last time I talked to you, I think you were saying you were sick. City Blues USA, welcome in. You guys, we're gonna get started as soon as I drain these noodles. As soon as I drain them. I gotta drain them, put the cheese in them, and it's gonna be ready to go. Because I'm all about the easy life right now. But this was the only thing I didn't get done. Can you believe that? Bowl Cuts, thank you for the repost. Oh my gosh, you guys, thank you for sharing the live. Thank you for 2.2K likes. I appreciate all of you guys being here, and I know some of you guys got to go soon. Cassie can't join us tonight. She had a meeting. Sad day. So let's get some new people in here. Anyway, let me get this cheese dumped, and we will start.
Are you making food?
Yes.
Okay.
I just need the cheese. Do you want to put the cheese in and stir it so I can go back to my class?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here's this.
Hello, peoples.
Keep warm, and then all you need to do is open the little cheese pouches. Oh my gracious, where are they? Here's your guys' vegetables. Sorry guys, I thought this was gonna be quicker. 1 second. Oh gosh, what was that?
Somebody sent you something.
Thank you for the lattes, you guys. So good.
I love lattes.
Me too. Personally, my fave. Thank you guys for that gift. That goes towards our gift goal tonight. So, cheese in here. Sir.
Okay. And when do I put the veggies in?
You can either combine them or you can put them on the side when you serve it up.
Okay.
Whatever your little heart desires. It will be good either way.
I could tell y'all paying attention.
Okay. All right, here's this.
Okay.
Put in the cheese, stir, stir, stir.
Okay.
Do what I just said. Okay, I love you.
Did they miss me?
Okay, my daughter says, did you guys miss her? Funny. Okay, we're gonna get started tonight, you guys. Thank you. 8 of you here. I am very, very, very thank you for that heart meme. Barin, isn't it like 4 a.m. for you? Oh my gracious. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Walligator, for the shares. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I have been everywhere. I'm trying to keep this out of your guys' view. Okay. Let's get started, you guys. Class number 4. Oh my goodness. I cannot believe we're already here at class number 4. Get my little whiteboard. Okay, while we're still waiting for people to roll in, we are going to play our game because some of you guys didn't get to play, but we are playing again this time. But I do want to say we are just like, I don't know if you'd consider this class halfway or last class halfway, but I considered last class kind of marking our halfway point. So I want to tell you guys real quick about graduation. I'm going to start advertising it this weekend, so that gives us a lot of time to let people know that we're doing this graduation, okay? So more graduation info to come. I'm going to start doing some of the pep rally stuff this weekend. So when you start seeing posts, you guys, I know y'all excited because I'm excited. We've done a lot of work and a lot of learning. And so this is how it's going to kind of go with graduation. All right. I'm going to get you guys all the actual deets, send you guys a little pamphlet thing by your preferred method of contact for this class. So you will get your little invitation to come to graduation. And the advertising will start this weekend for that. When you see stuff, please share. And share it out to your people. Be like, hey, I'm graduating from this really cool class I did. Hype it up, okay? Let's work together, Constitution crew, to hype it up. And you guys always do, so I just want to say, when you see it, share it. Okay. Your friends and family are welcome. Bring people. Yes, even if they come to the, last few classes, bring them. They will be recognized as completing the class. I just want this to be a very fun, exciting event for everybody, for all of us to kind of come together where, we talk a lot about class and whatever we're talking about on each class session. And so this is going to be kind of a communal time to come together and just hang out. Following graduation, we will have the Hamilton Watch Party. So join Discord. Join Discord. Does everybody hear me? Join Discord. Okay? I'm just making sure that everybody knows. Join Discord. Our Hamilton Watch Party will be in my Discord. If you need the link, then please message me and I will get you the link. Okay? So, it's important if you want to join the watch party to join Discord. That's the last plug. And my Discord is fun anyway. I'm trying to ramp it up in there, give energy and all that fun stuff. So, the watch party will be in there. Join Discord. So we're going to start graduation on TikTok. We're all going to come. I'll set an event time and stuff for it. This is going to be on November 1st. It's a Saturday. So save the date. Save the date. Woo! Okay. And so it'll be on a Saturday. I would set aside, Hamilton itself is an hour and 45 minutes. So I would say a combination of the graduation and the watch party. You're probably going to want to set aside 4 hours. 3 to 4 hours, 3.5, anywhere between 3 and 4 hours, because Hamilton is practically 2 hours by itself. So that'll give us good time to mingle. I want to bring everybody in so that they can all see you guys and recognize the work that you're putting in, because I believe that it is very important. So we will have a welcome and an intro. We have a couple speakers. I'm trying to organize a good, and they'll have about 5 to 10 minutes each to each answer one specific question. It'll kind of be interview style. I would like people in boxes, but I understand if you do not want to do boxes. So just be thinking about that. Yes, I would like to bring everybody up. Some people cannot do boxes because of their account, like not enough followers or whatever. I'm going to figure out for one person in particular I know of that has been in the class, and that's Lassie, and I know her in person, so we're going to try and IRL something. I haven't talked to her about it yet, but I hope she comes in here soon, or maybe she's already in here. I don't know. But so I'm going to have a couple of attorneys speaking. I'm still organizing it, so I don't want to tell you exactly what it is yet. That's the more info that's to come when I send out your guys' stuff, okay? So then, of course, student recognition. I have actual certificates. Whee! I'm very excited. It's really, just want it to be a fun time. So we're going to start on TikTok. We're going to have a little conversation, fun stuff. Like I said, if you'd like to share what you felt like was the one thing that you learned from this course and what you thought, then you'll have an opportunity to do that when I send everything out. Paris, welcome in. Welcome in. Thank you for joining the Constitution crew tonight. We're going to start very soon. I'm just running down, and you're just in time to start class 4 with us. So I hope you'll stay. But yes, so we'll have student recognition, you guys. And when you get your recognition certificate, I will be able to email them if you provided email. I should also be able to send them to you via text if that was your preferred method. So everybody should be able to get their certificate by their preferred method. Save your document. I would love it if you'd save it. Put in there the information you'd like to know. Kaylee Brown, I think I seen you just come in. Welcome in. Heather.
Hello, Heather.
Did you? Kaylee Brown. Welcome in, girl. I knew I seen you. Thank you, Heather. I have no words. That is not something I expected. Thank you for becoming a super fan. Oh. Zaria, welcome back, girl. Yay. Okay, so yes, so we're gonna have, we're just gonna have a good time. We're gonna talk about what we learned. I want to recognize. Oh, you think you just renewed? Okay. Well, thank you. Yay! Thank you for renewing. Either way, I'm excited. Thank you. Hey, girl. Hey, Southern Mimi, welcome in. Yay. Okay, so then we're gonna have closing remarks. Yes, then we will move from TikTok after the ceremony so that everybody can invite everybody, say, come see this really cool thing I did. And I just want to give you guys a little bit of notoriety because I appreciate you. And this is way more people than I even expected would come on a regular basis at that. Yes. You got to come back to the cookie eating country, you guys. It's the best place on earth, really.
It's true.
But yes, so that's what's going to kind of happen, and I will kind of announce where we're going from there. So I think that's it. So if you guys have any questions or anything, let me know. Okay, that's as long as I wanted to spend on that plug. Because, we have a lot of things to do, and I think everybody is in here. So, like Zaria said, coming back to our cookie eating country, there's only one. I'm missing Lassie. Let me send her. Okay. We sent that out. Okay. So, yay. Here we go. Bowl cuts. Thank you for all my lattes, because now I'm truly pumped up. Okay.
They were delicious.
So, does anybody have a bill they want to present first? And let's see. We need... Let me write this down here. Actually,
The random George Washington bill.
I forgot my pen.
Mama, can I add some cheddar cheese into the mac and cheese?
Is there some?
I think so.
If there is, you can. Okay, so we need a president Right. We need a president. We need anybody who doesn't take a role, you are going to be Congress. Or no. Anybody who doesn't take a role, you're going to be a constituent. So we need president. We need Congress. Like 1 or 2 people, it doesn't matter. And what was our other one, you guys? I'm totally blanking. A rep, right? I think. Committee. Yes. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so any volunteers? Any volunteers for president?
I will be the volunteer.
Can you guys hear the echo of me?
Yeah, sorry, that's my phone. Let me shut my door.
I can't hear it. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not. Okay, so I'm going to keep track. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Miss Lojo. Okay, President Lojo. So we're continuing where we left off, I think. Lojo was our last president last time as well.
Good job, Lojo.
What about 1 or 2 people in Congress? 11.5K likes. You guys are rocking it. Thank you so much for the likes. And then we need 1 person willing to be our committee.
I will.
Heather. Heather's got a seat in Congress. 1 more person, or is Heather our whole Congress? Okay, bowl cuts. Yay! Okay, Heather and bowl cuts are on our Congress. How about our committee? Nora, welcome in. Committee. Kaylee Brown, you want to be committee? Or are you working?
I'm here too.
Okay, that's cool, Nora. I hope you have a good practice. Okay, cool. Yay, Kaylee. Thank you. Okay. All right. So who's Bill? Who's Bill? If nobody has a bill, I have a bill.
I don't have a bill.
Okay. Let me do my bill then. Keep in mind, all right? You don't have a bill either. All right, keep in mind, I am playing the opposite side of the fence with this bill, okay? So this is in no way reflective of my own beliefs. That's my stance on it. Okay, here is my bill. My bill is a mandatory social media censorship act. Like this live is about to get censored. Okay, I'm just kidding. Okay. Thank you, City Blues. Thank you guys for everybody liking the live. Okay, this act would require social media companies to remove content that is deemed misinformation or hate speech within 24 hours of posting, with significant fines for non-compliance.
Isn't that false advertising?
So let's start with my proposal, okay? So my proposal is exactly what I just read. I propose that we use TAXs for...
How long do you want me to wait?
To fund this bill that would continue to
How long do you want me to wait till I serve the mac and cheese?
You can do it as soon as you want. Just get stuff together. It would continue to roll, so like there wouldn't be an end time on it. And there is no definition of what misinformation or what would be considered dislike speech. And the control over this bill will go to the government. What do we think? Let's start with Kaylee, our committee. Committee, what do we think? Are we voting yes, no? And don't forget, if you sent the heart me, you have your yes and no votes in the little, where the stickers are. You have your yes and no votes for stickers.
In my opinion, I vote no.
Kaylee votes yes. Okay. All right. So it's passing committee. It's passed committee. So we're going to Congress. Heather and Bull Cuts. What do we think? Bull Cuts is voting no. Okay. Remember, we have to have, what, 3/4 of Congress. So with Bull Cuts' vote, we're kicking it back to committee. But when we're kicking it back to committee, let's debate this. So Bull Cuts, what makes you say no? And if I'm not responding, your comments are getting filtered. So just so you guys know. You might have to switch up the way you're wording things. And Heather, we need to know what your vote is too, Heather. Well, we don't need to know, but because we already don't have 3/4 of Congress, but okay. No, that is a legit legal concern with this bill. Good job. It's not really a technical jargon. There's not one. Okay. All right. So Heather, you are voting no because you believe that there should be a law requiring specific social media companies to pay for it and that it not be controlled by the government. Also a valid reason to vote no. Okay. So committee, what do we think? Kaylee. What makes you support it? What makes you support it? Because you passed it. Or do you change your stance because of what Bull Cuts and Heather argued? So there was Bull Cuts. That was what was pinned earlier. And this is Heather's reasoning. Bull Cuts says that she doesn't want any, people shouldn't be censored. So she doesn't believe it would be a good bill. Heather says that there should be a law requiring the media content, platform, to pay for it. And she doesn't believe it should be controlled by the government. So if we don't control it by the government, how do we make it work? Who controls it then? What would be an alternative to make this a more suitable diplomatic bill so we could pass it? Okay, the laws that are put on the social media company. So we would want our bill to be applicable to the social media company What else? Hi, Miss Autumn. Welcome in, girl.
Hey, Autumn. Hey, Autumn.
Anything else? Is that the only wording we need to change? Or, bull cuts, do we need regulation in place to make it a good bill, or is it just not a good bill at all? And anybody else can chime in. Everybody else is a constituent, so weigh in on your vote, too.
I vote no.
Is this the only thing? So let's propose it. If it's the only thing, then I say, all right, we're going to reword this bill. Oh, you misunderstood when I first read it. Okay. You can say anytime, Miss Lojo. Well, when it gets to you, once it works the way up to the president, because remember, you can veto or you could choose to sign the bill. They should be responsible for the content that is allowed. Okay, so we want it to be applicable to the whatever social media company is saying, that the responsibility lies with them to manage their own platform, right? Should we still have fines? Okay. Hold on to it, Miss Lojo. Hold on 1 second. And Kaylee, so misunderstood when I first, so the bill proposes that pretty much social media companies have to remove within 24 hours. Superfan Fave Ashley, welcome in, yay! That they deem misinformation or dislike speech, okay, within 24 hours of it being posted, or get significant fines for noncompliance. And if they, not only would they be fined, but the definition in my bill is not defined. I'm not defining what is misinformation and what is dislike speech. Okay, you're okay, Fave Ashley, but hi. But I have no definition, so that means that it would be on. I'm trying to get you guys to apply what we were talking about last week, so I don't want to just give it away. But right now, I'm not defining what is these things, what is dislike speech, and what is misinformation, and I'm proposing that the government would have control over the censorship. Hopefully that cleared it up. Okay, so let's say we bounce it back to Kaylee. And Kaylee, are you okay if we amend the bill? She's like, now that I understand, never mind. I vote no. It's okay, Kaylee. It's totally okay. I know you're working too, so okay, so Kaylee says no. So we've debated it. They've brought forth good points that it's not applicable. So let's change it. All right. Kaylee's voting no also. All right. We sent it to Congress, and 3/4 of Congress did not say yes. So back to committee, and committee saying, no, we're not going to go for that. So I'm reproposing my bill. All right. So this will still be mandatory, a still mandatory act. They still have to remove the said content within 24 hours or face significant fines. What? Thank you, Fave Ashley. You keep reading that gift. Oh, you guys. Thank you for that heartbeat. Thank you, Bowl Cuts and Fave Ashley. Thank you. On that gift goal. I'll reset it here in just a minute. Okay, I still don't have any definition. It's going to be left up to the government because the government will still have control. Okay, but here's my reproposal. Let's change it from the government. Let's say we go with what Congress and committee, or let's say we go with what Congress said, and This bill is going to change. The government won't have control over it. We're going to give control back to the social media companies, and the responsibility will lie with them to deal with the content. And let's say I still don't have a definition of what constitutes misinformation or disliked speech. Okay? So going back to Kaylee, with the revisions, Kaylee, what do you think? Lassie is here. Yay, Lassie. Welcome in, girl. We're just in our first round of the Blitz, of Bill Blitz. And we are debating a bill that is a mandatory social media censorship act that says that social media has to remove content that is misinformation or Nina, welcome in, girl. It's been so long. How are ya? With misinformation or disliked speech. Lassie in the house. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. Okay, so Kaylee Brown says yes, we'll pass it with that amendment in the bill. Okay, so let's go back to Congress. Heather Bullcuts, what are we thinking? Do we like the revision? Yes, really. We are gonna talk about that. That's why this was my proposal. Yay! Yes. You're totally right. Let me pin this. Heather's saying the problem with government is that we have to trust their intentions, right?
I think that's true.
It is true. It is true. And we're going to talk about it here just in 1 minute. Okay. So what do we think with the revisions? If the bill was applicable to letting social media companies be responsible for what is misinformation and dislike speech, and therefore have the rights to manage their own platforms or face fines. Nina, yay, happy birthday! We are going to sing happy birthday to you towards the end. Well, or in the middle if you have to go. Just let me know if you have to go, and I will, we'll do it. Yay, happy birthday for Nina. Okay.
Because I feel like if the people who created the app are smart enough, they would see their mistakes and just fix them.
That's right. Okay, so Anaya's baby Lucky Llama is a constituent, and she says no because
If
they would be able to they would be able to determine by their own definition. Thank you for that, Rose Lassie. Thank you. Let me set this other word. Okay, so we are at Congress. So Heather and Bullcuts, do we think with the revision that it's a good bill? Are we passing it? I'm just checking things out here, y'all. Hold on. I can't see right now. Okay. Thank you for you're awesome, Lassie. Thank you. Too vague. Okay. All right. Too vague to pass. Because we need 3/4 of Congress, right? Even one vote in this case is gonna ruin the 3/4. We don't have 3/4. You could argue that we do, but too far. Too far. No pass yet. Okay, so let's let the president weigh in, since in government we can have the president's opinion, right? Since we're having to. No, don't feel dumb. Kaylee, you are doing great. So let's let the president weigh in. Heather, thank you. Thank you for meeting that gift goal. Lassie, thank you for the heart me. Thank you, guys. Heather, thank you for lighting up the TikTok in my gift gallery. Thank you. Hey, Miss Lojo. Amen. Look at this. This is proof we need women presidents. We can disagree and still love each other unless your disagreement is rooted in my oppression. This is exactly what we're going to talk about today. You guys are thinking great. Good job thinking like a lawyer. Heather, thank you for lighting up my friendship necklace in my gift gallery. Thank you. Yes, Bowl Cuts agrees. Bowl Cuts agrees. Okay, so what this is displaying, give me 1 second here. One moment. Okay, what we're seeing displayed here is a bill dying in committee. Kaylee Brown says yes. It was very, very, very good. Spoken like a true president, Miss Lojo. And everybody agrees. So because everybody agrees that 1, we are disagreeing, and 2, we've gone all the way up to the president and got with the president's approval, we already know that if it gets to the president, they're going to veto it. This is an exact description of a bill dying in committee. That's pretty much where it died. Exactly what we just did. We went up, we went down, we got the president's input. Everybody is pretty much against this bill. Let me tell you why I personally would not stand for this bill, and I think most of you hit on all of these points, okay? For one, it's too broad, like Heather said, right? We have no definition. We have nothing in this law defining what is misinformation and dislike speech. Nothing. That leaves it way too open for people to come in and input their own whatever they're inputting, right? So it gives too much room for swinging one way or the other in this bill. And even if we give it strictly to the media companies to manage their own platform, they still could write bowl cuts. This is exactly what it is. It's interpretation. So what we're serving as, technically, even though we each had like president, Congress, committee, what this would be equivalent to in the government would be, say, a federal judge would be the one to say, like, we're interpreting the law. So that's kind of what would be equivalent to what Bowl Cuts is saying, is that we're interpreting the law to say this can't really be lawful because...
Can we get the blue little Gatorade thing?
As long as there's 2 left. Okay, sorry, because that in interpretation, that's pretty much what the federal judges do. So there you go. Thank you, Faye Ashley, for those roses. You guys are killing it tonight. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And thank you for lighting up the rose in my gift gallery. Y'all are rocking it. I appreciate y'all so much. Okay. So, let me set up these little... Okay. Setting up this go up there. Okay. So yes, and then also the problem, even if we gave it back to them, is that they would be responsible. Miss Lojo, thank you so much for those finger hearts. Thank you. So either the government, which is what we said no to last time, they would have complete control, and since it's not defined, they would be able to define it. If we give it to the social media companies, they would have control over what the definition is. And so because that is not defined, it probably wouldn't be a smart bill to pass just strictly for that reason alone. My baby, you guys. I am feeling the love. Thank you so much. Thank you for reaching that goal. Thank you. I cannot say thank you enough, you guys. I appreciate you. Miss Lojo lit it up in my gift gallery. Thank you so much, you guys. Okay. And so... it goes. So basically what we did is we sent it back and forth. Everybody says, nope, this isn't really a lawful bill. And since we cannot pass a bill that goes against the Constitution, it has to die in committee. So that's essentially what we just did. So wonderful. Okay. Moving on. Does anybody else have a bill that they would like to... Oh, also, the biggest problem with this bill is, like Bull Cuts mentioned in the beginning, she doesn't want nobody to be censored. And because everybody has a First Amendment right, ultimately, that would go against your First Amendment right to have a mandatory censorship of social media. Reference to that would be the whole TikTok debacle that has been happening. Okay, let's move on. Let's keep chugging along, you guys. Okay, great game. If nobody else, Cassandra's here. Does anybody else have a bill? Cassandra, I'm so glad you're here. That just hurt my brain. But you learned. That's the important part. Kaylee. What's up, everybody? Cassandra, thank you for the roses. Okay, so does anybody have another bill for Bill Blitz? If not, we're moving on to my second game, which is quicker than Bill Blitz just went. Anybody? Okay. All right. If you do, we're going to have to come back to it next class. Okay. All right. Here we go. Constitutional Would You Rather. This is another game I came up with. All you have to do in the comments is put would the... Yes, Heather. Amen. Heather's proposing. We could just put that into the bill and repropose it. Yes, no problem, Cassandra. Everybody who said yes to being a bowl cuts, right? We'll just work it on in. Like we can amend. Maybe instead of censorship, it's just the dirty leaders. Anybody who said yes to being a moderator on their class sign-up form, you are a moderator. No floozies, Bill. Yes, Volcuts. Yes. Okay. Constitution, would you rather? All you have to do is put your answer into the comment section. Okay. Question number 1. Are we ready? Heather pass. Number 1. It's up there. We were gonna have to add it to our Constitution. Lassie, thank you for the love you so much. All right. Would you rather have the freedom to protest anywhere and anytime, or have the right to privacy and data protection?
I can't find any spoons and forks.
You might have to wash one.
No, there's literally none. There's none in the back. There's literally none in the...
None upstairs either? I'll be there in a second.
I got it.
Baby Lucky Llama says privacy. Miss Lojo, privacy. Heather, privacy. Okay. All right. Privacy and data. Hey, I'm with y'all. I think I would too. Honestly. Privacy and data protection. Yep. We're all on the same page. Yes, privacy and data protection. I agree. I agree with you guys 100%. We're in the same would you rather boat. Okay, second question. Would you rather have absolute freedom of speech or protections against only what is determined to be disliked speech? I know, Miss Lojo. Yes, Heather and Miss Lojo. Yes, I'm seeing. Me too. We would just have regulation around that. That'd be my ideal. If I have to meet in the middle somewhere, I don't know. I don't know what that would look like, but that'd be a good discussion. I think we do. All of us, I would vouch to say, are probably big on that. So, would you rather absolute freedom of speech or protections against what is determined to be disliked speech. Mm-hmm. Freedom of speech. Heather said, yikes. Heather's over there like, is this constitutional? Yes, it is true. Yes, I agree. I agree, Miss Little Joe. It is a tricky one. It's a tough boat. It's a tough boat to pick, I'll tell you. Yes, Lassie, I agree. Yes, because it's censored. Lassie, thank you for the pumpkins. Thank you. Yes, I agree. I think it would be better to have freedom of speech, personally, because I think that would make it the most equal for everybody. Thank you guys for all the likes. Thank you. Okay. Right. And I mean, it sucks. You're walking a tricky line because it is a hard one, because there's really, I mean, the Constitution applies to everybody. Thank you so much for that heart, me, Cassandra. The Constitution has a right. Remember, we talked about this if you've seen my post on the exactly, Miss Lojo. My post on the Red Bull case. That is what I would think of in this with the freedom of speech. It kind of, there's two different aspects to the case, but exactly. And honestly, you know, words are one thing. Like, a lot of people can say a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? And if we have absolute freedom of speech, that's what I was saying about the Red Bull case. That everybody, the law has a duty to protect everybody. You could say, Fave Ashley, thank you so much for that perfume. Thank you, guys. Thank you for lighting it up in my gift gallery and reaching the goal. Thank you, guys. Yes, I agree. Yes. But that's what I was saying about the, you know, that they were saying, you know, duh, like, everybody knows Red Bull doesn't give you wings, right? But the law still has a duty to protect everybody, regardless of their affiliation with anything, right? As much as we're like, ugh, that's kind of cringy. If we have something that is determined to be disliked speech and that falls under too far to one side or the other, we're going to have problems constitutionally. So I agree with you guys on that one. Okay, let's do one more. This is an easy one, I think, for most of, maybe. It's not really an easy one. None of these questions are really easy. Would you rather have a national popular vote or maintain the electoral college system? So for those of you that do not know, the electoral college is written into our Constitution and is built into our system. Agree or disagree, don't shoot the messenger. So what would you guys rather have? Darlington 261, welcome in. Thank you again for meeting all these gift goals, you guys. You are help pushing us out and just loving on me. So thank you. National popular vote, Heather. Okay. Anybody else? Hey, sing single transferable vote. Cassie, what a good discussion. Ranked system voting. Okay. Okay, this is a legal debate, you guys. I lean towards Poppy, but I'd love to hear more. Okay, let me note this. Let me take this down. We will have this discussion. Popular vote, majority vote, not by the state you're in. Okay? Okay, so let me make a note to myself. We want to cover the National Electoral College because that'll be a good one for next week. To just discuss a little bit more in depth about what this looks like and what is actually built in and what isn't and what is misunderstood, what isn't, all the questions. So I made a note to myself. Hi, secret account. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome to your first class in the Constitution Connection. Mike, welcome in. Welcome in, you guys. Okay. All right. So let's set this aside for now because I have lots of other stuff that I would really love to. You know me from, yes, you do, secret account. Yes, you do know me from there. If there's more, yeah. All right. Okay, we are reviewing secret account. You're just in time. We're on class 4 of the Constitution Connection. In just a few weeks, we're going to have a graduation and a Hamilton watch party in my Discord. So I hope you'll stick around. Naomi, what a wonderful name, Naomi. And welcome in. Okay. So yes. All right. We're going back to 1781. The Articles of Confederation were in effect, right? And then Shays Rebellion happened. Shays Rebellion. Thank you for the follow, secret account. Welcome to the Llama Forum. We're in the Constitution Connection group. Shays Rebellion happened, which was to overthrow essentially the Articles of Confederation, right? We studied that. And it also ushered in the Constitutional Convention, where James Madison, Alexander Hamilton, and John Jay were the head frontliners of our Constitution Convention. James Madison is considered the founding father of the Constitution, believe it or not, because some people, Lucky Llama, baby Lucky Llama, her name is Alexander Hamilton. He is joining us tonight. No, she's just singing, you guys. All right, so he's considered the founding father. I used to think it was Alexander Hamilton because you hear so much about him. However, Alexander Hamilton was the founder of the Federalist Papers. It was his idea to pitch this to everybody. And so in the show, you'll hear all of them say like, what? Who is this guy? Let's get him in front of a crowd because he's so convincing and he writes so eloquently and all of that fun stuff. So he is the founder of the movement for the Constitution, while James Madison wrote a lot of our amendments and is considered the father of that. John Jay also had a huge part. Those are some of the 3 key players. And their biggest debate was how to avoid functions taking over the government and doing things that were not in the interest of the people. How do they balance power, essentially, right? Okay. Moving on. You guys don't forget, you can put a 1 in the chat if you want me to stop and go over something. Okay. So, we are revisiting what we discussed way back in class 1. We're revisiting this concept of social contract. You guys. Social contract is the concept of a explaining why people would form a government. Pastor Connie AJ, welcome in.
Welcome.
Welcome in. I'm hanging in there. Thank you for asking. I hope you had a good day as well. Thanks for stopping by. It's so good to see you. So the contract, and this is regardless of where you live or how your government is, the contract is where people agree with this proposed form of government. So in our case, it was the Constitution, that the people are giving over certain rights to a government in exchange for the protection of their natural rights, okay? So once there's been an agreement made, yes, we are gonna go into this social contract, okay? Because the keys, keep in mind this, note, the keys to social contract are there that they agree and that both understand that they have some form of sovereignty, okay? That's middle ground. That is what Hamilton was proposing when he said we have to have a treasurer, we have to have America's banks, we have to have these different pillars of government, but overall, government has to have a certain form of sovereignty, and the people have to have a certain form of sovereignty. This is leading us into where we're going, okay? So, the key is that everybody is in agreement to this social contract and that everybody understands that they each have some degree of sovereignty. Nobody has complete sovereignty, but in their own ways, they're separate but equal. Separate but equal, okay? Agreement and sovereignty. Once we agree to this social contract, yes, we are going to give the government over certain of our natural rights to be looked after by the government, right? We have to decide what kind of government are we going to have. Now, can anybody put in the chat some examples of different types of government? I'm going to keep my whiteboard going. Correct, baby Lucky Llama. That is correct. We have the federal. That is a facet in the type. I'm going to flip you guys around so we can see. Yes, we have state. We have federal. We have state. And local. Okay, let's think broader. What types of federal governments do we have? Because remember last week we talked about bureaucracies. Oop, this is spelt wrong, so ignore that. Bureaucracies. We discussed that, and that would be your federal or your state and local types of government. So what's examples of our federal? Easy to do. Okay. Let me give you guys a hint of what I'm talking about. Oh my goodness. I can't spell tonight. Just ignore this. Right? Monarchies, which means a single person, king or queen. Heather, the IRS is a bureaucracy. Yes. Okay, so monarchies, this means a king and a queen, right? No kings since 1776, right? If you're a federalist, right? King, queen. We have totalitarianism, anarchy, revolution, justice screaming for solution. Okay, you get props if you can tell me where that's from. We have an oligarchy. Let me see your messages. Guess that musical. Flash round, you guys. We have an oligarchy, which is a small group. Then we have democracy, or what is referred to as popular sovereignty. Okay. This is people. This is all the power to the people. All the power. Okay. So you'll see. Totalitarianism and anarchy. Okay, all anarchy is no law, right? Yes. Les Mis. It's not from Les Mis. But that was a really good guess, because I would have guessed Les Mis. But it is another protest movie. Making noise and making freeze. cross-dressers too, to me, to you and you and you and you, to people living with, but not dying from disease. That he among us without sin be the first to condemn. La vie bohème. Bowl cuts, you look like you had it. You look like you had it. You were typing. Oh my gosh, City Blues. and bowl cuts, I think you have it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think props. It's from Rent. Okay. So we have all these different types of government, right? Now, our founding fathers were concerned with yes, Cassandra, bravo, woo, City Blues USA. Our founding fathers were concerned, Nikki B, welcome in, about having a straight up democracy. Okay, this is democracy as in popular sovereignty. They didn't want a straight up people have all the power, because if the people have all the power, they have the power to literally just overthrow the government whenever they do want to, or whenever they can change anything they want to. So we do not have a complete, pure, straight democracy. Okay, so in lieu of having this, how they balanced it out is called a type of government called limited government. It's called limited government. May Love, welcome in. Soy, welcome in. And the limited government is essentially the Constitution, right? Because the Constitution has balances, as you're going to see as I keep going down. It has checks and balances. It has three powers where nobody is, everybody is separate but equal, right? One can't trump over the other. Okay, so this was their idea, was to come up with the Constitution, and they wanted to have limits on a limited government so that the people didn't have popular sovereignty. They didn't have complete sovereignty. Welcome in, Joanna. Welcome in. The people did not have popular sovereignty completely, but the government also did not have complete popular sovereignty. It wasn't a king and queen. It wasn't an oligarchy, because they didn't want a group of people. They didn't want totalitarianism where one person, just one, has all the say, right? Rather than like, this is a king and queen. That's two people. We have a group of people, and then we have just one person, and then we have anarchy, which is no law, right? So we came up with a limited government. That was the Constitution. Everybody has checks and balances. Everybody has a law that they follow. Okay, great. So the UK is what is called a constitutional monarchy, okay? And I'll explain the difference here. They have the rule of law limiting a monarchy, but they have a say in that monarchy. Okay, they still have some say, but they still have a rule of law, but they don't quite have a due process in the same way that we do in the U.S. Okay, other examples of a constitutional constitutional anarchy. The other examples of a constitutional monarchy are Japan, Canada, Australia, Spain, Sweden, Norway, Netherlands, and Belgium. I'm going to turn you guys back around so you're not talking at the screen the whole time. And Thailand. So all of those people This better not be no heart me. Oh my goodness. Whatever. All right, we'll just do it. Most of you guys already sent your heart me, so don't even stress. Babe Ashley, thank you for the donuts. To go nuts. Okay. And so all of these are examples of a constitutional monarchy. Okay. All of if you look at their constitutions, you look at the way they're outlined, the laws that they have, you'll see here in a minute what is different. Okay. In a constitutional monarchy, the monarch shares power with with a constitution. So they have a constitution in place, and their government is organized based on that. But the monarch will serve as the head of that state or that country, whatever, the union. They'll serve as the head of the union while holding sovereignty. So that's the thing, is that anything that comes from their people, rather than their people having a full, hands-on in their democracy, it remains with just those people, the head of the monarchy. It remains just with the king and queen. So they have some protections, but not a complete as much as would be if it was arranged different. Their constitution does not have the same protections. Okay, so the founding fathers didn't really like calling the United States a democracy. All right, and now I'm going to say some things that I don't want to put anybody's panties in a bunch. All right, so please learn from what I'm about to say, and don't get too caught up on the way that you hear other people throw this word around. Okay, so does anybody know what they preferred to call the U.S.? They didn't really like the word democracy. I hate that this light is all in my face. Does anybody know? Thank you, Babe Ashley. Yes. Let's keep tapping to 50K. Whoop, whoop. Okay, so what they called it was a republic. Now, a republic tends to mean different things to different people, depending on the context in which you... Okay, you're okay, Miss Lojo. Welcome back. Thank you for coming back. A republic can mean different things to different people depending on the context in which they use it. And that is why I gave the disclaimer, don't get your panties in a bunch. Let me explain. All right, so a republic is, according to the founding fathers, any government that is not a monarchy and that has still a democracy, so their people still have a say in it, okay? And they have limited government. So the Constitution has to be in place, or whatever form of government that they're putting in place. The people has to have a say. That is, yes, a lot of people love to argue about this. And it has to still have the Constitution, democracy, so people still have to say, and it cannot be a king and queen, okay? That was the criteria that was laid out by the founding fathers. So they defined the United States as a republic. Now, this is the definition that they give and the definition that we still continue to go by today. A republic is a representative government. So that is the key word. All right. It's a representative form of government where power is derived. So this is how they carry out government from the people and is exercised by elected representatives whom govern according to the rule of law. Okay? So, the United States is a republic. It is what would be called what would be called a democratic republic. Politically, scientifically speaking, the term for America that fits us most when we started and where we're at today is a democratic republic, okay? Because we have a representative government. Yes, Cassandra, you feel me. I know y'all feel me. It's a representative government. We have a representative government that is where power comes from the people, and we exercise our freedom. Yes, ma'am, you already know. We exercise our freedom by elected representatives that are elected by us, who then govern according to the Constitution. That's how it's supposed to work. I'm not saying it works like that all the time. I'm not saying people work their way around it and do unethical things. All I'm saying is that's the way it's supposed to work. Cash, welcome in. All right, versus a peer democracy. Now, a peer democracy is a form of government where the electorate public is directly deciding policies, laws, and they are the elected representatives. It's closer to an oligarchy because it is a group of people, okay? Equals potential mob rule. Yes, very hard to carry out pure democracy. The reason being, because like I said before, if we have popular sovereignty where the people have complete power and it's democracy on the people's side, they will overthrow government. And it will change. Nobody will be following the same rule. It's going to result in anarchy, right? And it's going to result in the power possibly landing where you don't want it to land, with people who don't have everybody's best interest in mind, because that is what happens. And there's been lots of social studies done on mob mentality, how they run, how, lots of good information you can find out on that, the mob rule, and kind of research for yourself what kind of results do pure democracy have, but it doesn't tend to work. The closest place we have to a pure democracy is ancient Athens. Even ancient Athens and some of their government that today, if you ever research that, they are the best example of a pure democracy because all male citizens are eligible to participate in the government, which is what we have avoided, right? Unless it's changed. If anybody finds out that this is misspeaking on this, I'm not saying it is the same as ancient, but as far as I know, Athens is still kind of more towards a pure democracy because they still have like specifics like male citizens. It has to be a male and a citizen to be able to participate. And with our democratic republic, that is not the case because men or women can be involved in the system. But if I'm wrong, please let me know because I do not want to be doing that. But from my research I was doing, they still do, it has to still be male citizens participating. So they might not still be a complete pure democracy, but I don't believe their constitution allows for any kind of like people participation. The people are the government pretty much. And these people are like directly making policy decisions, voting on laws, and serving in government officers and on juries rather than having our people elect. And that's the big thing. So if I'm not misspeaking, the big thing with Athens is that rather than having elected officials, you have to be a male and you have to be a citizen. And those male citizens are allowed to dictate their juries, their laws, rather than with the Democratic Republican where we have elected officials. So collectively, as you can see, let's look at like John Adams. We talked about him earlier, or James Madison. I'm sorry. But Cassandra, I was thinking John Adams because I started watching that show and oh my gosh, I'm totally sucked in, but I haven't finished it yet. But good one, guys. Good one to check out. But James Madison defined at the Constitutional Convention a republic as a government in which the scheme of representation takes place where the people empower their reps and agents to make decisions focusing on the broader public good. Okay, so that was his definition and idea. Baby Lucky Llama. Yes, it was a wonderful, wonderful recommendation. John Adams defined a republic as a government in which all men are equally subject to laws. Can we see how our Constitutional Convention, all of these people were bringing their different ideas together to the table to make the Constitution as amazing as it is? Because we had all these minds that are like, well, I think government should be this, and I think government should be that. And like Athens had this type of government, while Australia has more of this type of government. But we want people to be involved. We want them to elect the representatives. We want the representatives to have a controlled, checks and balances. And they all brought it together to form the Constitution into the federalism that we see today, right? So in general speaking, the founding fathers said that a republic was a government without a monarch. It was very explicit that it cannot be a monarchy or it does not qualify, where officials hold office for limited terms and during good behavior. Okay. So, they had limited terms unless you were like, say, appointed judge, where judges have a lifetime terms during good behavior though, right? Because we can still impeach judges. Judges can still be impeached. However, very difficult that may be. Okay, so collectively, the states work like this too, and we worked it into our Constitution that the states are sovereign from the federal government, and they agree, they're taking part in the social contract, that if and when we come together, we will come together as a collective. This is truly what makes the U.S. the biggest and the baddest, is because not only do we have federalism, and I'm not saying greatest, wonderful, we do everything perfect. I've given you guys the spiel before, not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is what makes us such a big nation that can have all of these voices come together for the popular good, for the betterment of all of the good, is that we come together and we will fight for one another, for our Constitution, because we're there to defend it. Whether we are civilians or in the army or taking oath to presidential office or taking oath in a state or local government, we are coming together collectively, and the U.S. is very good at this, to make us, I hope I don't get banned, to make us unfuckable with, okay? We designed ourselves and our system that way. That we were going to come together, that our government pact was, hey, we're going to engage in war together. We are going to collectively come together in diplomacy and free trade and for the betterment of everybody. That was pretty much government pact. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way our founding fathers wanted it to look. And that is why we have the system working the way that we do today, and why it is the best in the world. Not the perfect one, but the best. I believe that is the spark that makes our Constitution great. Does it need to be tweaked? Yes. Do we have laws that could change? Yes. All of that thing. I agree with you guys, because I already know somebody is like, oh my God, holding their breath. Maybe not though. Maybe you guys feel me. On the scales of government, the equity and longevity that's born from a living Constitution is waiting, because it's going to be good. Yes, but that is it, Cassandra. The Constitution, our Constitution is living. It is living, and it is backed by the people. So I have to give that plug, you guys. Backed by the people. Miss, thank you so much for that follow. I really, truly appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So James Madison describes in his Federalist Papers number 10 the concept of representative democracy. It censored it. Girl, I feel you. I already know. I already know it's too much here. Oh my goodness. So it was in the Federalist Papers by James Madison that this concept of representative democracy was introduced. And we already said that in technical terms, the best representation of our government today is a democratic republic, because of how James Madison framed representative democracy, in that we elect our representatives and they become Congress, and that they make this social contract that everybody comes together for. Okay. But we rule, the land is ruled through elected representatives who are supposed to be following. Lord have mercy, typing is hard. I got you. Okay. So the Constitution was born, we all know that it sets a core ideas of inherent rights that are inalienable and are inherent to all individuals, okay? Key here, inherent to all individuals. Okay? Another thing that makes us such a wonderful country is that you can come here and you have inherent rights to all. And we're going to go on and you'll see my examples here, right? In the law, we describe something as inherent, okay? Keep in mind, something lawfully defined does not always mean that you can go to the dictionary and apply the dictionary definition when you're talking about a legal term. So in law, we describe something as inherent when something exists as a permanent, essential, or characteristic attribute, like a right or a power, that belongs to a person or entity by nature, just given to you, okay? Human rights. Rather than being granted or assigned it, rather than having to write this down and say, oh, hear ye, you have this right, this right, this right, and this right, which you might see in like a limited, like democratic monarchy kind of, like we were talking about earlier. You might have some rights, but they're not going to be naturally afforded rights to you. In America, you have naturally afforded rights that are covered and protected by the Constitution, of which your government. Thank you so much, Faith Ashley, for that. Yay. Thank you so much for that donut and for meeting the gift goal. Thank you so much. And so rather than being assigned or expressively written, our Constitution says everybody is afforded inherent rights and inherent powers. Inherent powers would go to the government, okay? So that means that authority possessed implicitly by the government without being explicitly granted by the Constitution or by law, meaning it doesn't have to be written down. But there are inherent powers that are given to the government without statement. That's the way it works in the law. You have inherent rights. Us as citizens have inherent rights, which is fundamentally human rights possessed by any human. Okay? Again, other constitutions, if you look into them and read them, Google it if you don't believe me. I'm telling y'all, you're not going to see it. You're not going to see it. I read China's once, and it's very interesting to look at these differences that we might not consider because we grew up and lived in America. So the rights that are innate human rights, they're considered universal and inalienable. Okay. We also have inherent authority, which is authority given to agents to act on principles on behalf. So this would be like Congress, to fulfill an already granted authority, even if not specifically stated. Okay. So Congress declaring WAR. Okay. In order for them to do that, that is explicitly stated in the Constitution, and they've been granted the authority by the Constitution to declare WAR. Okay. Another example, court's authority to declare and punish somebody for contempt. So a court's authority, whether state, local, or federal, have the inherent, I want to make sure I'm using the right word. Sorry. Have the inherent right to determine what is contempt in their courtroom and punish you as such according to the laws regarding contempt. Another example, if you're buying a house, this is more like applicable to your everyday life probably. If you buy a house and you go to your realtor and you authorize your realtor, Debbie 23, thank you so much for that, Rose, welcome in. If you give your realtor the authorization to sell your property, then even if it is not explicitly stated in your contract, your realtor has the right to do blah, 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 your realtor still has the inherent authority to sign necessary sales documents on your behalf. Okay? So that's a little bit of real life applicability there. Debbie at 23, this is class number 4 of the Constitution Connection. Welcome in. I hope you give me a follow and hang out with the Constitution Connection crew because we're a good bunch. So now I'm shifting, okay? We're going to shift to talk more about rights, civil rights, what they are, and how they compare to civil liberties. This is the meat of what we are going to talk about tonight and what we're going to wrap up with, okay? So, what are civil rights? Anybody, everybody scream in the chat. What are civil rights? Anybody know? Anybody know? I'm advertising right now. This is my hoodie for the Free Law Project. Okay, you guys go check it out. They have tons of stuff. It takes a little bit to like move your way around it, but this is where I get all my information. Good quality information coming straight from the courts. You can pull up documents, all that. Civil rights, yes, of the people. Of the people. It's true, yes. Rights of the people for civilians. Yes, Miss Lojo. Let me pin you up here. Okay. So civil rights are protections provided by the government, right? Because we're in a contract, we're in a social contract, ensuring equal protections for all citizens, legal rights that protect equality. Yes, yes, yes. Miss Lojo and Cassandra, yes, you're both correct. They are the rights of people, civilians, and they are legally intact rights that protect your equality, that you are going to be treated with the same protections as the next citizen, all right? Examples of civil rights that are afforded in America. We are talking freedom of speech, freedom of religion, voting rights, protection against unreasonable or illegal search and seizure, legally protecting life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Yes, yes, yes. Those are innate rights that we are just given, right? And also our right to a fair trial is also considered a civil right. I feel like when we discuss civil rights, people tend to narrow it down to just slavery. I think and I'm not scoffing at the fact that people are bringing that up and fighting for rights. I just feel like whenever someone says that's against my civil rights, they're thinking something having to do with discrimination, race, religion, gender, all the things, right? Instead of looking at it as a whole picture, when the Constitution actually protects, while those things are squished in there, like they're considered part of it, right? The freedom of speech, the freedom of religion, the freedom of protection against search and seizure, of the rights to due process, the rights to a fair trial, the rights to just equal protection by the government for every person, regardless of race, religion, etc., etc., etc. Okay? So we're talking about due process, discrimination, privacy rights, bearing arms, all those things, okay? They're civil rights. What legal document affords people civil rights? Cassandra, that's reached level 3. Thank you. While I'm waiting for you guys to answer, I'm going to set this new goal up here. Since Fave Ashley knocked it out of the park, y'all. Ooh, Miss Lojo. Yes, ma'am. Hang on. I got you. Lassie or another mod, can you throw that up for me? Pin up Miss Lojo's comment if I don't get to it. Yay. Thank you, Cassandra. The Bill of Rights. Yes. So the Bill of Rights, the Bill of them. Yes. The Bill of Rights. Thank you for pinning, you guys. Thank you, moderators. Thank you. So the Constitution and the Bill of Rights both afford people civil rights, okay? The Bill of Rights is the first 10 amendments that guarantee fundamental freedoms and rights, okay? That is all the Bill of Rights is. It is a compilement. These are the first 10 amendments, and it is compiled into what is called the Bill of Rights. Why? Because think about our first few. Let me get my little pocket constitution out here. If I ever do sales like TikTok shop, I'm definitely putting a little constitution in there. So let's look. Like the first 10 amendments are freedom of speech, right? Right to bear arms. Welcome back, Lassie. Right to bear arms, right? That's our Second Amendment. Anybody know the third? We don't have to list them all, but you get what I'm saying. Right? Like, they're fundamental. Like, our speech, our religion, our right to bear arms, our... Yes. Thou shalt not have to quarter soldiers, right? Yes, all things that are protected by us. So that's why they're the 10 main ones. That's my point. So let's think about religion real quick. This is going to be similar because in religion we have the Torah. Who knows what the Torah is? Like what specific? Mirroring the Bill of Rights. Who knows? Yes, Cassandra. Yes, the Torah is the first 5 books of the Bible. And I'm not converting over here. I'm just giving you the education. Because I understand not everybody is, no, you're good. I understand that not everybody believes the same way. All I'm saying is in religion, if you study religion, the Torah is in relation to the first 5 books of the Bible. Now in Judaism, the first 5 books of the Bible are the most sacred text because it has the laws and teaching of God. Mostly it's providing these laws, right? And similarly, we're looking at that same concept with the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, which is the first 10 amendments, which you can also mirror it to the 10 commandments, right? These are the 10 things that's like, this is the law. This is the law. So it's sacred to our Constitution because this is where a lot of our rights sit, is in the Bill of Rights. Okay, so now let's shift again. That's some of our civil rights. What are some of our civil liberties? Okay, what are civil liberties? Does anybody know the difference? If you don't know the difference, it's okay because I'm going to tell you. But what's the difference? Like civil rights versus civil liberties? Okay, here's the difference. Civil liberties are protections from the government. Okay, again, we call that social contract. Acting or stating, okay, the basic freedoms, yes, because it ties into civil rights, right? But civil liberties are the protections against the government. Okay, so our civil rights are pretty much, this is your basic freedoms, right? Like you said, Cassandra. The freedom of speech, the freedom of religion, voting rights, protection against illegal search and seizure, right to a fair trial, right to equal protection. These are all civil rights that are listed. So when you read the Constitution, it'll be like, okay, first 10 amendments, Bill of Rights, you have these rights as people. With civil liberties, you're looking at what rights can the government not overstep? How is the Constitution protecting your civil rights? Those are civil liberties, okay? Now, civil liberties are also backed by the Bill of Rights, okay, which is the first 10 amendments. Procedural liberties are a type of civil liberty that specifically limits what the government, how they can act, what they can do, all right? Jedediah Reed, welcome in. Thanks for coming. Examples of civil liberties, and this will help you understand what the distinction between civil rights and civil liberties is. Civil liberty, for example, is a protection against illegal search and seizure. Okay, so your right is that you have a right to not be illegally searched or seizured. All right. But the civil liberty falls on the fact that the Fourth Amendment says the government is required to protect that civil right. by protecting your illegal search and seizure, protecting you from that. Okay. Another example of double jeopardy. You have a protection against double jeopardy, and they must give you due process. Okay. This is backed by the Fifth Amendment. Another example, they must give legal counsel. You must have access to legal counsel. Okay. That's the Sixth Amendment. You must not be subjected to excessive bail. Okay. That is your fave, Ashley. No, not ignorance at all. Thank you for pinning. Yes, not ignorance at all. Double jeopardy is being tried twice for the same thing. So if I go, now here's the key, because some people are going to say, how can that be when some people get tried twice, right? Double jeopardy is if I try you, I find you not guilty, I cannot try you for that crime again. That's double jeopardy. However, let's take Karen Reed case, for example. Ray, thanks for joining through Baby Lucky Llama's invite. Welcome in. Now, if you go through a trial and there is a hung jury, that means they don't come to a conclusion. Or, yes, new evidence must be submitted. Okay, that's also a key factor. So it's not double jeopardy if they bring in new evidence. Okay. It's also not double jeopardy if you claim no contest to a charge. It's not double jeopardy if new charges are filed. It's not double jeopardy if, like, they might use some of the stuff from that same case, but they have to present new evidence. It has to be a whole new trial because, as your civil rights say, you have a right to a fair trial, and your civil liberty says the government cannot violate that, and they cannot push you into double jeopardy. Okay. And so that is protected by the Eighth Amendment, along with cruel or unusual punishments. Okay. We have a right to not be subjected to cruel and unusual punishments. The civil liberty says that the government cannot enforce cruel or unusual punishments per the Eighth Amendment. The government cannot establish an official religion. Why? Because it goes against our First Amendment. And the government cannot censor the press. Why? Because it goes against our in our First Amendment rights. Okay? So now we've discussed some of the examples of civil liberties. What's the difference? Let's look at current events. Okay? How do you think people try to work around the protections that you're supposed to get to maybe skew a result? Yes, Cassandra. Welcome in, Ray. Do you think people find what are called loopholes in the law? Are we seeing a lot of that? We hear a lot of people saying, what? How could they get away with that if it's illegal? Right, Cassandra, right. So you're catching what I'm handing out, right? They thought it's okay. No, it was rhetorical. Yes, it's rhetorical because, yes, of course we're seeing people with loopholes. And so when you hear people say, I don't understand if it's against the law, how they're getting around it. There's always loopholes, okay? There's always definitions that may not necessarily be defined. There's always laws and amendments that aren't necessarily written to handle the type of case that we're trying to interpret according to the law, okay? And that's why also we want a broad constitution. We do not want to limit something so that it's very specific to one situation, because how do you govern the rest of the situations? How do you apply that law to the same civil rights situation or case that you would apply to a speeding ticket? How do we do that if a law is written specifically to just be specific to one thing? And so, yes, you are going to have people who are going to find the loopholes and do what they want with the law for something that is not necessarily in defense of the Constitution that they took an oath to protect. Okay? That's my plug on that. I hope everybody hears or understands what I'm saying. Okay. So let's keep moving. Remember, you can always put a 1 in the chat if you need me to go into more detail about something. So the 9th Amendment, Hezzy. Sorry, guys. The 9th Amendment reminds us that the listed rights and liberties in other amendments is not exhaustive. This means there's an amendment that was created strictly to say that listing certain rights does not mean that people don't also have other unlisted rights, okay? This served as a compromise amendment, the 9th Amendment, and it was proposed by James Madison, and it was adopted. It is in our Constitution, but it served as a compromise with anti-federalists to get them to ratify the Constitution, okay? That's all it's there for, is to say there might be other things. And it was just to appease the other side and get the Constitution ratified, also displaying diplomacy, which is what we talked about. Miss Lojo, do you guys call him Hezzy? When Hezekiah was born, I was like, absolutely not. I will not be calling him Hezzy. Or like, and it didn't work because, girl, I call him Hezzy. I call him Hezzy, Hezekins. Because when he was small, he reminded me of, the little Shopkins. So we call him Hezekins, the last of the littles. That's his nickname. Ziggy, I love that. Once a day at least. Aw, Hezzy for life, yes. All of my kids, different story for a different day. I might have to post you guys a video, but all of my kids have names that we stuck together to mean like one whole thing, to be like really strong name. And it's funny because they all lived up to it. It's pretty crazy. Hi, Miss Justice. Welcome in. Okay, so, all right, let's cover the last of the last here, you guys. Okay, we're almost through with class number 4, and thank you all for hanging in there with me. All right, so landmark cases that solidified civil rights. All right, so now we've looked at what this is, the different amendments, what's the difference between civil rights and civil liberties. We're going to look now at the landmark cases that have enforced our Constitution, backed it up, and caused judge after judge after judge every time this is presented to go back to these landmark cases and say, no, this is the way that it is. Okay. So the first case we're going to look at is Barron versus Baltimore. This happened in 1833. It was a Supreme Court case that ruled that the Bill of Rights only applied to the federal government. Okay. This got a little sticky, this case. And if you research it, you'll see what I mean. It also established dual citizenship. That's just a side note. This case did a lot, but it established that the Constitution only protected individuals from federal government actions, okay, not their state. That is the oversight. That is something that I think it does continue to be debated, but it should definitely be something that is honestly looked at, okay? Because, man, it's an oversight. It kind of made it so that you didn't have the same civil rights when it came to your state government as you did if you were going up against the federal government. All right. And that left citizens vulnerable, but it also compensated by the fact that a state government cannot pass something that is federally unconstitutional, right? We can't have one form of government. We can't have one entity, governmental entity, overriding other government entities. So that's how it kind of compensated in that sense, so that you are protected federally, but not necessarily at your state. So your state does have a little bit more control over your freedoms in a sense. However, they can't overstep completely because the Constitution is still there federally and they have to abide by that, and they can't step on your rights that are federally protected. So the Supreme Court did not rule that all rights and liberties in the Bill of Rights automatically applied to the states, okay? So rather than just giving it to one or the other, Cassandra, welcome back. Rather than giving it to, they used a process called selective incorporation, and that meant that for each right or liberty, the court had to rule in a specific case. They had to look at it case by case basis and rule that the case was incorporated like against the states. So rather than just reserving the power to the states, they made the states answer to the federal government, essentially. And they were going to dictate this on a case-by-case basis. So the Bill of Rights becomes applicable to the state governments, and individuals are protected with their civil rights from all levels of government. Even though it's kind of, like I said, it's still debated. People still debate this constitutional concept of selective incorporation and whether or not it has a place in our government. And it's something you'd have to research if you're interested more on your own. Or I could do like a video on it or something. I don't know. But the next case that we're going to look at is Gitlow versus New York. All right. This is a landmark case where the Supreme Court held that the First Amendment protected freedom of speech from being violated by states. Okay. So this is exactly this is the selective incorporation. You're seeing these cases go, they have to do it case by case. So they're saying that states have to abide by your civil rights. In this case, as it applies to the first. Yes, Cassandra. Okay. All right. Let me take note. Where did I take note on my other one? Okay. I'll just write here. Video on selective incorp. Okay. Let me work on that. Yes. So what you're seeing is what we just talked about. So if you don't understand it, hopefully you'll see it come through and you'll be like, oh, I kind of get it. Okay. So this particular Supreme Court case, Gitlow versus New York, said that the First Amendment is a protected freedom of speech, and you are protected from being your state government violating that freedom. Okay, another one, Mapp versus Ohio. This was a landmark case that ruled that states could not use evidence gathered from warrantless searches. If they illegally search and seizure you, I keep saying that because it's just a fun tagline. If they illegally search and seizure, that evidence cannot be used against you in court. State, federal, doesn't matter. If you did it illegally and they did not protect your civil rights in their search and seizure and do it constitutionally, they cannot bring that. This is backed by the Fourth Amendment. Okay, so if you want to research, that was Mapp versus Ohio. Okay, the last one is Benton v. Maryland, which ruled that there was a right against double jeopardy. Okay, we just talked about double jeopardy and that it was incorporated against the states. So that's what I mean when I say it has to be incorporated against the states, meaning it cannot be in the state's favor. This is Benton versus Maryland. That was a landmark case that again held that double jeopardy, states cannot give you double jeopardy and say, well, our Constitution allows for it. No, not happening. Okay. Again, it's called selective incorporation. All right. It has to be not in the state's favor. That's essentially what it's saying. These court cases that I just listed off tell you about that. Okay. Now, I want to note here that there is an important distinction that doesn't often get discussed, and it doesn't get pointed out. And what I think that this important note is that lawyers and political scientists, so the law and political science, I like to say, lawyers and political scientists, the law and political science, they are separate but equal entities, okay? I'm trying to think of how to explain this, but there is a distinction between civil rights and civil liberties for a reason, and it is because the law and political science are separate. So, we talked about feelings. Hi, Isaiah. Welcome in, Thrifty Chick. We talked about, not only the difference between civil rights and civil liberties, but we also talked about the separation of feelings and law, right? So this is why I'm noting this, because when you are looking at something lawfully, we talked about how your feelings can kind of cloud your judgment on this. And so we need to understand that even when we hear these terms interchangeably, whether it's civil liberties or civil rights, when we hear them interchangeably used in society, we have to understand that what is lawful might not necessarily be what, like on a political spectrum, right? We could kind of group them, but I don't know if I'm making sense. But there's still a distinction, okay? Politics is not necessarily the law, because politics will often creep its way into court of public opinion, rather than look at what the law says and interpret it based on strictly what the law says. I'm going to look at this. This says I have a freedom of speech. So if somebody tells me I can't say how I believe, I can't say how I feel, I can't write down on a piece of paper and publish it in a newspaper or in a book or whatever, if they tell me that I cannot do any of those things, I understand that regardless of how worked up I might want to like punch them in the face and be like, First Amendment, biatch. Okay, right? That was the closest I could get. Anyway, like, if we want to, regardless of how those feelings might well up in us and be like, I have a First Amendment right, that the law protects you 100%. And Miss Soldier's like, yes, anytime. I'm about to pull up. All of us protesters in here. But yes, that's basically why I'm just making this important point, that how we feel and what the law says and what politicians tell us the law say is not always the most lawful assessment and interpretation. So just keep that in mind when we're talking about these distinctions, when you're talking to people about civil rights and civil liberties and they don't quite understand how to break them down constitutionally. When you hear people say, like, it's a Law and Order episode, if it sounds like it's a Law and Order episode, you just see it everywhere. Olivia can't keep her work like strictly lawful. You know what I'm saying? Like, she brings her feelings and her experiences into it, which we also need because we have to have empathy, but we have to also understand that the two are not interchangeable. Okay. So, Boguts, welcome back. So those two are not interchangeable. Now, we are going to look at, and I'm going to use some code words, and I'm sorry, but I have to because I don't want them to kick me off. So these are two case studies I want to do with you guys, and I'm going to run through real quick, and then and then we're going to be wrapping up. So, all right. An X chromosome and an X chromosome. Does everybody know biology? Lassie, thank you. I needed that pumpkin latte. Let me pretend for a minute. This is just water. Let me catch my voice. I needed that latte. Thank you, Lassie. I'm getting the what do they call it? Oh my goodness. My brain's fried. That effect, like you don't, like it's not really there. You guys know what I'm talking about. Maybe not. Anyway, moving on because that's not. Moving on because I can't say what I'm trying to say. All right. Okay, so these case studies that we're about to do, is going to wrap up everything that we've talked about today, all right? Now, this is a legal debate. Now that we've said our disclaimer, okay? Feelings, separate them. Let's talk about it, okay? Let's look at the legal debate. Oh, Axel, you haven't even been here that long. I don't know how you're booing. Elena, welcome in. Welcome in, girl. Okay, so X chromosome and X chromosome. Does everybody know biology? Do we all know who has an X chromosome and who has a Y chromosome? Mandela effect. Yes, similar. Yes, with like medicine. Like if and when they give you something, I can't think of it. Okay, good, Lassie. Yes. So we all know. All right. This is the code word that I'm going to be using for this because, all right, Axel. This is the code words I'm going to be using. Okay, X chromosomes are girls, Y chromosomes are boys, right? Okay, good. You're spilling some gossip or something. Okay. So into the legal debate and how X and X chromosomes and Y chromosomes can get together. All right. Does everybody put a 1 in the chat if you're following me? So I don't lose anybody in this example. I'm just trying not to get banned off this app. Okay, good. All right, great. Wonderful. Okay, so we're talking about X and X chromosomes and Y chromosomes getting together today. All right. So the initial legal issue, right? Getting married. That's the legal issue. X and X chromosomes and Y chromosomes and X and Y chromosomes and non-binary chromosomes. They should thank you. Cassandra's 10 steps ahead of me. Woo-wee. All right. This is the legal issue. Okay. X and X chromosomes and Y chromosomes and non-binary chromosomes and X and Y chromosomes should all be able to go to the party and do what they do, and they should have a right to marriage. Am I right? Okay. There is an innate freedom of marriage that is allowed by our Constitution while it is not specifically defined, right? Because we don't want a law that specifically defines just one instance. We want laws that incorporate all instances, right? So the freedom of marriage is protected by the Constitution inherently, as we were discussing earlier. Restrictions set on X and X, yes. Thank you, Elena. Yes, yes, yes. Anybody, right? Love is love. We're all for it, okay? Even if you're not for it, I'm sorry. It's inherently protected by the Constitution. Let me tell you why. The restrictions were set that not everybody, okay? Let's focus first. Here's the first thing. Not everybody is free to marry, right? At any time that they want, right? We can't marry off our 6-year-olds, right? Or they can't marry themselves, right? Because it's a restriction set by the law. Good, right? Good restriction. Also, the legit legal argument against, they might say, is that they're too young. They only can have it, right? We have to set an age. We have to define things, okay? So, and things like you can't marry your sibling, all right? Yes, yes, we are getting to this, Alina. Yes, yes. It's okay. Nope, it's okay. It's okay. Yes, we're going there. You're getting it. You guys are hearing me. Okay, so how does this become classified as a civil rights action? Now, remember, we are looking at this at the law. Agree or disagree, this is what the law says, that it is classified as a civil rights issue. Why? Because there is a majority. Thank you for that, Rose, Alina. I hope I'm saying your name right. There is a majority who is denying a protected legal status, which is marriage, right? To a marriage of an X and an X chromosome, or a Y and a Y chromosome, or a non-binary chromosome, or a trans chromosome. Okay, we all get it. Okay, like we're denying the majority is denying the minority, which constitutes unequal treatment. Okay, so by the law, it constitutes unequal treatment. All I'm trying to say is, like, one of my goals in this class is to look at things constitutionally and to teach people why things are the way that they are. And this is why we need to define, why is this a legal issue? Because anytime you take something to court, it's got to have a legitimate legal question. Okay. Now, the conclusion was that the core legal issue is the majority imposing inequality, fitting the definition of a constitutionally affected civil right. Okay. This is what they argued in court. If you go look up these cases, therefore, an X and an X chromosome and a Y chromosome and a non-binary chromosome and a trans chromosome should have the same rights to marriage, and the marriage is a protected right and must be allowed for regardless of your chromosome and which chromosome you're deciding to get together with. Okay? That's the conclusion the courts came to. You could tell me you don't agree, but in Oberfell v. Hodges, okay, that's the case. If somebody can type it and someone can catch it and pin it, I know Cassandra brought it up. But if we can just type Oberfell v. Hodges, this is the landmark case, just in case anybody wants to take notes. This is the landmark case that overturned state bans on... Thank you, Cassandra. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Okay, it's a landmark case that overturned state bans on X and X chromosomes and Y chromosomes getting married, okay? Which they determined legally was protected underneath the 14th Amendment. And so therefore, they had to deem that the states were in violation of the federal constitution and allow X and X chromosomes and Y chromosomes and everything in between to decide who they wanted to get married to. Okay. This case took place back in 2015, and it was a 5-4 ruling that affirmed that marriage was a fundamental right. Okay. So that was one thing, that it was protected under the 14th Amendment, and secured the fact that X and X chromosomes and Y chromosomes could have the same rights as X and Y chromosomes. Okay? That's your first case study. Also, involved in this is why it is important. It is so important to have this be protected, is because we aren't just talking about a religious right, right? We're not just talking about one group of people's opinion on this. We are looking at it from a healthcare aspect, after life services aspect. So people getting married, regardless of what it is, what kind of marriage it is, when X and X chromosomes and Y chromosomes were getting married, or not married, when it was considered a civil union, I will say, underneath the Constitution before this came about in 2015, if their significant other passed away, their inherent rights were violated. Okay, we're not just talking about what people think is religiously right. Their inherent rights to, say, their spouse's health care plan, they couldn't even put their spouses on a health care plan. So not only are we inherently violating what is defined as marriage under the Constitution, we are inherently violating their right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So that violates a lot more than just someone's religious freedom. They can have the freedom to believe that and say, my religion says this, but lawfully, they can't follow through with that same thing, okay? If their spouse passed away, I knew someone who couldn't have access to her spouse's, bank accounts, funds it was a joint thing. But because they were not legally married, she couldn't have access to properly bury her spouse that she had been with for 15 years. So let me be clear that we are not just talking about how somebody views a religious right while that is appropriate. Right. And again, yes, adult adoption, if they wanted to adopt kids yes, Lassie, it was a very intricate review of what our Constitution said in an interpretation by the judges. And that is why it stands today via this case. Let me find it again. I lost it, you guys. There it is. Okay, via this case, it was so important that we amend our Constitution or not amend the Constitution, because we didn't actually. We said that the 14th Amendment did protect this right. So we didn't amend anything. We just interpreted the law to say, yes, this is legal. Okay, give me 1 second. I have to find my plug, and before we don't lose each other. Okay, before we finish. All right, so that was the debate. You still will hear people debate, even though it has been determined, and it has become a landmark case to say that this is a right that is inherently protected by our Constitution, and states are not allowed to step on that because of everything we discussed earlier. Okay, let's look to another thing, okay? Segregation. We're going to look at the legal debate and how it is constitutionally unacceptable, why it is constitutionally unacceptable. The initial legal issue is that some people argued that segregation was a matter of personal preference. So they're allowing their feelings, right? They're allowing their feelings to dictate what the law should be. And we've seen why that doesn't work, right? They argued also that it was acceptable as long as separate facilities were equal. When segregation was in place, this is what what it was interpreted that the law protected, okay, was that as long as they were equal, it would remain lawful to have segregation. As long as everybody had equal rights to spaces, any space, schools, libraries, water fountains. Exactly. Yes. Feelings over facts. Feelings over what the law dictated. Now, it's important to note that segregation as well as slavery, both were constitutionally backed up at one point for this very reason. However, let me tell you what the restrictions were that were set. The separate facilities, bathrooms, schools, etc., were found to inherently and basically, human rights wise, be unequal, and it was found that it restricted opportunities and dignities for a minority group of people by underfunding, providing outdated resources, and often no resources at all, completely withholding resources compared to vanilla people. Okay, that's my code word, all right? Let's understand that this happened several times in our history. If we will remember back from our first few classes, this happened to a lot of minorities, okay? It wasn't one group. It was all vanilla versus the world, okay? That's essentially what it was, all right? So, it became classified as a civil rights issue, and I'm not bashing. I am not bashing, okay? It's Cassandra. Yes, and I'm not bashing. I love my vanilla people, okay? We need every people to make this world go around. And that is the title pretty much of this class, is that the world is wide enough, you guys, okay? For those of you that don't know, that is a Hamilton reference. For those of you that don't know, you will hear the Hamilton reference, okay? My point to drive home is the world is wide enough for everybody, all right? Everybody can have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The Constitution protects life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for everybody. It does not tell you have to coexist, while we should. Yes, we have to reference the way that it happened is not okay. And we have to make that a very clear point. And I believe that vanilla people have honestly, I think that a lot of them, we also don't recognize that had a huge role in protecting our civil rights and our civil liberties, even when people said that it was legally okay. So, things like, if the goal is inclusivity, everyone acknowledging past mistakes allows growth and healing. Exactly. We have to offer all of those things to everybody, right? Or we don't have effective laws. We don't have effective governments. Versatile, welcome in. Hey, girl. Thank you. Thank you for coming in. So why it's classified as a civil rights, as a civil rights issue is because they were denying legally, welcome in, girl. So good to see you. They were denying equal protections that were listed and defined under the 14th Amendment. What you guys will find, again, remember when I said I crossed out the 14th Amendment? Not don't the 14th Amendment, right? But when I was like, hey, someone says they're getting rid of the 14th Amendment, it's not happening because of federalism, right? So you'll notice the 14th Amendment has a lot of our rights packed into it. Okay. So this is how it became. Thank you, girl. Thank you. It is so good to see you. Thank you for sharing the live. Thank you. And thank you guys for all the shares, all the likes. Thank you. Keep it up. We are wrapping up here soon. All right. So the fact that it was causing significant social and economic disparities and affecting education and public services to a minority group of people by a majority group of people, the judges had to say, is this right protected by the Constitution, and are we interpreting it correctly? And thank you very much. Woohoo! Constitution Karoo. Thank you, Versatile Queen. Thank you for meeting that gift goal. I appreciate you and lighting it up in my gallery. Thank you so much. That was so sweet. Thank you. And so because this was happening, it presented a legal question that was legitimate. And the conclusion was the core legal issue with segregation is that it was a form of institutionalized discrimination, as we know. Thank you so much for the heart puff. Thank you, guys. And it was restricting people's civil rights. So what was the result, class? What was the result? I should see lots of answers to this. And thank you. Yay. 80.28. You guys are wonderful. Oh my God. You make my heart just jump out of my chest. Thank you guys so much. I love y'all so much. Okay, so let me see the answers. Everybody should know. I say everybody should know, but I had a college professor question me on it once. What is it? What was the case? What was the result? What was the landmark decision? Hey! Cassandra for the win. Brown versus Board of Education. All right. This is a landmark case that declared segregation in public schools. Okay, so let's look back real quick. Loopholes? Yes, 100%. People find loopholes and they will do unethical, immoral, and things that do not defend the Constitution. And you do see them. How do you say? How do they get around this? By making themselves a private institution. That's how people get around it. And that's how they teach what they want, establish the religion they want. Also, if you go farther than the Constitution, how cults are kind of informed. But we won't get into that. All right, we're focusing on Brown versus Board. Okay, so this made a significant change and milestone in civil rights and the foundation of our Constitution. It was huge. Brown v. Board of Education. Thanks, Cassandra. All right, so it was huge, and that was the result. It was this landmark decision that said anywhere in public schools, you have to do this. In order to be a public school, get federal funding, all of that, you have to do this. You have to obey, and you have to not violate people's rights. And everybody can go to whatever school. They have to have the opportunity to go to whatever school is in their district, whether it's vanilla people or not, and vanilla people vice versa. Because let's face it, there are vanilla people in our inner city schools too. So the law has a duty to protect everyone, all right? Facts, laws, feelings, not in this case, okay? We got to go to our psychiatrist and talk about that, all right? And we got to look within us and decide, what do I believe? And am I a Federalist? Thank you, Versatile Queen. Right, exactly. We have to decide what we believe. And once we decide what we believe, we have to know, does it line up with law? If it doesn't, it's totally okay if it doesn't line up with the law. You're just not abiding by the Constitution, and you just can't step on somebody else's rights. Until 2017. And you know, Cassandra, like, for realsies, I was doing some research on my state, Missouri, and oh my goodness, they did some awful things, like refusing to free people after the federal Constitution freed them. which we all know happened to everybody for a while, but Missouri was really lagging behind. Oh my gosh. I was like, that is horrible. Okay, so that is pretty much the 2 case studies that I wanted to look at. I appreciate y'all for staying with me 30 minutes almost past what I said we were going to do. But while we are on this feelings versus the law, okay, it is all wild. Do you guys notice in your states? Thank you, Cassandra. I was wondering if you guys would like my little breakdown of case studies. I can do some more of those for you guys. But does anybody see that happening in their states as well? Like, it doesn't necessarily trample, or maybe it's not public. Thank you for the goat. Thank you. But do you guys notice that, like, some in your state's histories are, like, pretty not constitutional at times? And I will add that those states generally get in trouble for that. Like when their bureaucracies are not abiding by federal government, especially if they're getting federal funds. Also, how your state can protest. If you refuse to take federal funds and you're up and running on your own and you are considered a private entity, even if you're practicing in public, another thing, okay? That's the ultimate form of protest, I'm telling you guys. Okay, so, but this, I would like to ask, put a 1 in the chat if you would be interested in this. I would like to do a workshop diving deeper into feelings versus the law, specifically a watch party of I watch a documentary series that goes, oh, thank you. Yes, we're wrapping up. So you were here for the bulk of it. Faye Ashley says 1. Thank you so much for being here, Alina. And I hope next week we can see you as well. Yes. Cassandra. Privacy and data. Hold on, my cat's eating something now. No. Get out of it. Stop. Cricket, welcome in. Thank you for your heart, Miguel. We're wrapping up, but it's so good to see you. You're here just in time. But so I was gonna say, put a 1 in the chat. I've seen a couple 1s already. If you would be interested in any workshop to watch, let me preface this, okay? I watch these documentaries that are like, the first part of the documentary will focus on the prosecution story, and the second part on the defense's story. So a lot of times I like get sucked into them because I'm like, how did they argue this in court? Like, how is this lawful? And these, Yo-Yo, hey, welcome in. I haven't seen you in here before. You follow me and I will follow you later when I get off this live. And I'd love it if you stick around. Anyway, but thank you so much for your heart, me, and I will get you back when I end. Okay, so I love it because half the time you'll be like, what? They did what? Like, they are definitely guilty. And then you hear the defense's end of it and they present their evidence and you're like, I don't know how to feel. Like, I feel so torn because I can see both legal sides, okay? And if anybody in here, I think there is do we have Geminis? Yes, we do. Do we have Geminis in here? Put a 1 in the chat if you're Gemini. Thank you, Cricket, for the repost. I know we have Geminis in here. Anyway, a lot of people, yay, Lassie! I'm a Gemini. Lassie's a Gemini. I know we had a couple, at least. Bowl Cuts is a Gemini, but she headed out, I think, for the night. Same as Lucky Love. Yes, we're like 2 days apart, me and Lassie. Okay, so a lot of people say Geminis are two-faced. Let me tell you, Geminis are not two-faced. The reason people hate on Geminis is because we can see both sides of issues. All right, that's my interpretation, in my humble opinion. Geminis are not so much two-faced as people say. They just see both sides of the same coin, right? That's what I like to think. And I think that's what makes us unique and so good as part of the world. Not that anybody else isn't. We're not discriminating in here. Especially not space racism, you guys. Ugh. Don't do that. But I'm saying, okay, so anyway, part of this documentary series I watched, it is kind of a heavy thing. It is not nothing you're gonna watch and be like, right, Cassandra, yes, the scales of justice, same thing. They like to balance everything from both sides and find a happy medium. It is very much so. So this, it's kind of a heavy, I was typing that. Great minds, right? Great minds, that's for sure. Okay, so the documentary I'd like to watch in this workshop, I'm thinking it will be a 3 to 4 hour workshop if I design it, but I was wondering how many people might be interested in watching this documentary with me and discussing how this documentary applies to feelings versus the law, okay? It is on the Commonwealth, okay, so we're talking about Massachusetts, versus Michelle Carter. Does anybody know what, or no, don't put it in the chat, what, if you know who it is? Probably me. Does anybody know, just put a 1 in the chat if you know who Michelle Carter is, if you've heard of this case. It was a very popular case. It's okay if not. Probably you'd watch it. Okay, Miss Lojo. Okay, great. Haven't heard of it. Okay. I have to be careful because I can't use so this girl was accused of causing someone to unalive themselves, and it was her boyfriend. You remember it. Okay. Hard to swallow. It's a little bit hard to swallow because it gives a lot of the, details of what was said back and forth, that kind of thing. And so it is kind of a little bit of a hard pill to swallow. However, perfect representation of the feelings versus the law and how they interpreted this case and why they interpreted this case and why they charged her the way they did. It was a very thorough, when I was watching it, I was like, dang, hard to swallow a little, but very good look at interpreting the law. Sorry. Angel of Mercy. Yes. That is pretty much what the discussion was with that. Yes. Thank you, Cassandra. Sorry, I'm just trying to set one more goal we can maybe push out before I let y'all go. But yes, this was, it was a well done. Most of these documentaries are very well done because, like I said, it lets you see the whole picture. You're not just getting public media attention's opinion or, anything like that. I gotta see what my cat's getting into. Hold on. Furley. What you up here doing? Better not be licking on and eating on stuff you're not supposed to. Oh my goodness. Look at this bad face, y'all. Look at him. Naughty. But he's so cute. I love him. Okay. Anyway, so yes, I would like to watch with people, and I just kind of wanted to gauge how you guys maybe felt about that. Yes, Lassie. Okay, so if you don't know, this is a much better description than my code words. Be a good boyfriend. I know. He is a cutie patootie. I love him so much. Thank you for the heart pops. Thank you so much. Knocking it out of the water. Babe Ashley's like, here is your goal. Wrap it up. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you so much, Babe Ashley. Thank you for that. Yes, so very well done. Thank you so much, Babe Ashley, for giving me that goal. I appreciate you. Wow. Okay, so I just wanted to ask about that. I would be doing it in Discord so that we can have, thank you for the love you so much. Oh, you guys are so sweet. we will be doing it in Discord. It would be a watch party in Discord and a workshop that I would host in Discord. So let me work on getting that together because I really do want to watch it with you guys. It is very interesting and it is a very, very good look at the law. And it also kind of gives you a little like that yucky feel. Like I said, it's hard to swallow. So you have a little bit of yucky. So you're kind of torn between how you feel. But it also forces you to look at how each side argued the law. Okay, Cricket. Yes. Okay. So I have enough. I have enough interest. I will get that. Yes. Okay. Awesome. 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 Great. Great. Let me get Furley. Hang on. Again. Come on. You want to eat? Okay. 1 second and I'm going to wrap y'all up here. Let me give this to him. Okay, Fur. Be a good boy now. All right. Okay. All right. So great. I know he's my baby, you guys. Oh, I've been so worried about him recently, but I took him to the vet and thankfully he was just constipated. Who knew? I never even knew. I'm a new cat parent, you guys. Ugh, I barely know. I feel like a new parent all over again because I'm like, does he like this toy? I have no idea. I don't know what to do. Okay, so yes, let's try to get 95K before I log off. Okay, while I'm finishing this up. Yes, me too, because I was seriously thinking about worst case scenario in my head, like him already having surgery and how the heck I'm going to have to like, oh, I thought we were going to lose him because it was like, you know, intestinal blockage that was horrible or something. So I was very happy that it was not that. So yes. Okay, so let me work on getting this workshop together, and I'll send it out. Let me take note here on this side. Cricket. So I know who to send them out to first. Lassie, Elena, Lojo. Okay, anybody whose name I didn't, Fave Ashley. Anybody whose name I did not say that would like to be included. On Discord. I'm not sure if we can do it on here, but either way, it's too touchy. It's too touchy for this platform. So it will be on Discord. So I'll make sure to get, if you don't already have it, I'll make sure to get Cricket, Lassie, Elena, Miss Lojo, and I know Fave Ashley is already in the Discord. So I'll make sure to get you all, guys all links so you can join the Discord. I'll make you a new one tonight because I know sometimes the one in my bio goes out. So I'll make you guys a new one tonight and send it over to you guys, and then that way you'll be in the Discord and I can kind of just advertise it to those that are interested in the Discord, but I'll also advertise it on here too. So if other people want to sign up, they can, but we'll plan on starting. That's a good group. I think we'll have a good discussion with that. So, okay, so let me get that. Almost at 9. You guys are so fast. How? Okay. So, let me see. What looks like a fun one? Let's see. I don't know what looks like a fun one. I don't want to make a lot. I don't want to make it big, but we'll do this guy. Okay, so yeah, so I'll make sure everybody has the access to all of that. And thank you, Fave Ashley. Thank you so much. Thanks for helping me reach that goal. Knocked it out of the park. Thank you guys all so much. So let me wrap up and let y'all get on out of here. I so appreciate y'all. I love that all of you come in here and literally like the same, all of you guys come back, and I am so appreciative of that. And I know I tell you guys that I try to get in there and like send everybody like individualized, like I so appreciate you guys. It is not even funny. So I try to set it up like that for you guys because I really want you to know how much I appreciate you. And yes, I will totally stay to 100K likes. And thank you, Miss Lojo. Thank you guys, really, truly. You guys give me a reason to get my mind off stuff when I'm planning for classes and when I come in here and do classes. I love seeing everybody roll in and just your support, whether it's taps, likes, heart me's, gifts, whatever it is. It just makes me smile and surprises me every time that people will come in here. 9 of you, 10 of you, you know, way more than I honestly thought, but it was my goal to have 10 people in this class. And so I thank you guys for making that happen because I honestly thought maybe 1 or 2. Not because I doubted you guys as my community, but just that I doubted that I was going to have enough information to give that people were interested in and would keep coming back. And so you showed me and, it really truly means a lot. I appreciate all your guys' shares. And again, graduation information, look out for that to be posted and emailed to you guys by Sunday night. No later than Monday morning. Okay. So, but my goal is starting this weekend to get out I want to make a little flyer for it, get it out there for you guys to share. It doesn't matter if you've been to 1 classes or 10 classes. Please come. I want to have a great time. We're going to start for those of you that came late, we will start on TikTok is the plan. We will start here on TikTok. It will be a Saturday. It will be November 1st. If you signed up for my class, which I do have some slots still, so if you want to officially sign up, what you get out of officially signing up is just your preferred method of contact. And so I'm able to send you I send out like a little newsletter each week. I try to get it out, like Tuesday. It usually is my goal, but it happened today, like earlier today, with my posts and stuff. It's been hectic. But last week I did get it out on Tuesday. So you just get a little thing like, here's what we're going to cover. Come with your ideas for this, et cetera, upcoming dates, save the dates, all that stuff. So November 1st for our Hamilton watch party after our graduation ceremony will be in Discord. Thanks so much, babe Ashley. You guys got this. Thank you so much. And so when you start seeing stuff come out, you can start sharing it as soon as you start seeing it. And then you guys will get your little official invitation that will have all the dates, time nailed down for that. And if anybody's like, hey, I have something on that time, like, just give me a suggestion and I'll work it around so that everybody can be here, because I would love it. Even if nobody else in the TikTok community shows up for y'all, I would just love it if we could all come together and just have a good chat and a good time. And, so thank you, Lassie, for pinning. So friends and family, welcome. Please join the Discord, especially I have your names for the workshop. So I will get that together. I kind of have to like plan it a little bit, and then I'll get you guys like a date and a time, and I'll throw that advertisement up there. But I'll specifically make sure that each of you, that are not already in my Discord, get into my Discord. So you'll be set for the watch party, you'll be set for graduation, and you'll be set for the workshop, if you'd like to join that. So I will get you all guys that information. And yeah, we're going to have speakers, student recognition, obviously, you guys. The Constitution crew. So I have real certificates for you guys. And I would love it if when you get your certificates, if you signed up, this is the other thing you get by your preferred method of contact, email, or text unless you state otherwise. Like if you're like, my preferred method is email, but for my certificate, I want text. I would love it if you guys save your certificate, tag me, and just kind of tell people about the class. Yay, 100K. I think that is the highest we've gotten, you guys. That's wonderful. Thank you guys so much. And then there'll be closing remarks at graduation. Congratulations, information on where we're going in the future, and our own hashtag, the Constitution Connection Grads. Okay, y'all are gonna get your hashtag too. So good thing to hashtag. I would love it if you take pictures of or like save your certificate. And you know, you can take pictures however you want. But I would love it if you post the little certificates when I send them out to you guys. So you will have them the day before graduation. That way, if November 1st, but everybody should be marking your calendars for November 1st, and set aside like 3 to 4 hours, because the Hamilton watch party is 2 hours, and we'll set aside like an hour and a half, 2 hours for just to mingle and the graduation party and talk about. I would like some students to come and talk about their experience and something that really like stood out to them in this class. KD77, thank you for joining from a repost. We were just about to get out of here, but girl, it is so good to see you. So good to see you. Oh, thank you for that mark of love. Oh, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. You guys, and 100.6K likes. Oh my goodness. KD77, you're invited to our graduation and Hamilton watch party if you'd like. We would love to have you. Yes, grab up your classmates, you guys. Grab up your classmates, get to know each other, mingle in each other's content, do all the things. But whatever you do, stay constitutional, y'all. It's a crazy world out there. A lot of smells. For those of you that don't know. 8:30. Okay, I will try to pop in. I probably, because that's like 7:30 for me, I think. I'll probably be getting my kids ready for school, but I'm going to try and pop in, Miss Lojo, because last time I was there, it was such good information. I really enjoyed it. Lassie, thank you for using the stickers. You guys, anytime you send a heart me, you now have access to our stickers, our voting stickers, all that stuff. So anyway, yes, Autumn, I will let her know. But so that is the rundown on graduation. More information to come, your invites to come, things that you can post and share to come, or just show up, you guys. It's for everybody, but specifically you guys, the 9, 10 of you that have cycled through this room every week for the last month. I would love you guys to join me. November 1st, okay? It's a Saturday. And I will get back to you guys with the time, but that is what we're going to do with that. Okay, so that is the end of class 4, you guys. Anna Gonzalez, you're late to class. Oh my gosh, let me write you a tardy slip. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Anna, come back next week, okay? Please, if you haven't followed me, follow me and come back next week. We have a great time. And I also love my kids. They are my world too. All right. You guys, there we go. It's going to be great. We're going to have a good time. I have fun things planned for graduation, so I'm getting very excited for it. And it is literally like 3 weeks away. So that's why I'm going to get it ready to go by this weekend, information on graduation, so we can spend 3 weeks going. All right? So, any questions? Anybody want to tell me about their day, the favorite part of the day? Anything anybody wants to say? Any concerns? Anything that you were like, let me pin that you were wrong about this? It's okay. Otherwise, I'm going to let y'all get out of here because I am tired and I'm sure you guys are tired and you have IRLs to get back to, and I have to get my kids to bed. Anybody? Okay. All right. We'll leave it at that, you guys. Okay. Are you guys ready? Everybody get ready. If you're not ready, you don't know what's happening because you've been here a very short amount of time. But if you are ready, it's because you know what's happening and you've been here a very long time. Are you ready? Cassandra, you too, girl. Thank you so much for being here. All of you. But Cassandra, I was like, man, sad day. I was sad but I'm so happy you made it. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, are we ready? Here it comes. Did you guys catch it? Did you catch it? If it went over your head because you're new here, let me know and I'll throw you another one. But you're supposed to catch it, put it in your pocket, okay? And whenever you're wondering if anybody loves you, you better pull it out. Cricket didn't go over it, but it's right here. You're like, it didn't quite make it over my head, but it's right here. It hit you on the cheek. You need another one? Okay, are you ready? Here we go. Did you get it? That's another one for Friday, okay? You guys got one for Thursday, one for Friday. You caught it, Autumn? Yay! Let me find it. Yay! Everybody got it. Stick it in your pocket. Never let it fade away. Okay, you guys. I love you for real. Good night, Constitution crew. And I will see you all next week, same time, same place. And I look forward to it. All right. Bye.